opened up Facebook yet, but I'm going to do that now too. Oh, don't go live yet.
We are.
Okay. All right. I just said for all these people that are awake in the morning right now, looking at you and I, here we go. So good morning, Aiden.
Good morning. Now you're extra early, right?
Yes. So it is 5:15 where I am.
That's not too bad. That's normal for here. Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's just putting my thinking cap on and having a coaching conversation this early. It's a little bit different, but no worries. So what's the subject for today?
Today is 7 ways to generate momentum.
All right. Well, let's and so for everybody that's seeing us now, or if you see this delayed in the feed, I'm doing some traveling. I'm at a corporate event with Century 21 in Park City, Utah. And so instead of skipping for the week, because I will be in meetings at our regular time, instead of skipping for the week, I just decided, and Abe decided, we would, call an audible, do it a little bit earlier. Hopefully this will get you all up and running and feed your minds before you get into your office. And so you'll have a great day. So what's your thoughts on generating momentum? Where do you want to start, bud?
Yeah, I mean, I think momentum is key, right, in everything that you do. And I think a lot of people don't understand that whether we're moving in a positive direction or moving in a negative direction, things that help us or things that hurt us, we're always building momentum in some way, shape, or form with our actions or inactions.
I think that is so critical to know. Mm-hmm. I think in the real estate industry, we talk about building momentum as if it's just building momentum, like moving towards something we really want. But what I want, and I think what you just said, I want us all to be thinking that we've always got momentum. There's either momentum pushing us towards what we want, or there's momentum pushing us towards what we don't want. So the reality is there's always momentum. But are you intentional about your momentum becomes the real question. And I think, for most part, I think that's where we're lacking.
Absolutely. And when some agents hear, generate momentum, they always think, well, grow in business. How do I get to grow the business? Mm-hmm. That's what that typically means to them.
Yes. And that's what, and I think that's and I think there's a challenge there. And that is, if you don't recognize that you're always growing. See, the momentum and growth is always occurring. Like we're either growing or we're pretty much dead. If you think about it, we're either growing, let's take your fingernail. Your fingernail is always growing until you're dead. So we're always growing. We're always in momentum. And I put as an example in my notes, if I decide to eat really bad, drink bad stuff, lots of sugar, don't exercise, I will generate momentum for gaining weight. If I do the opposite, if I eat right and everything else, I'm going to gain momentum to lose weight. In both cases, momentum exists. So we're going to talk about more of the positive momentum, of course. And what's the we said seven ways to generate momentum. What's the first way on your list?
I think it's constantly moving every morning, staying active. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Last month, I run a lot. I think everybody out there that knows me knows that. Last month I had a pretty heavy month in running. I put a lot of miles in on my legs. And then I was a little bit beat up going into this month. Yeah. And now we're halfway through the month. So I've been resting a lot, or at least that's what I was calling it, quote unquote, resting. Okay. But, resting slowly started building momentum, turned to a little bit laziness. And now all of a sudden, halfway through the month, it's like I'm building momentum to being lazy and losing energy. And I'm tired and just sluggish all day. So, finally this week I said, you know what, I'm breaking this string of momentum and I'm going to reverse it. Right. So I started getting back into my running again. And all of a sudden now my energy is starting to shift again. But I think, it's important to stay active every single morning, no matter what that means to you. Some people do yoga, some people exercise, run, weight lift, whatever it may be. I think it's important to stay on that routine, and just wake up the body, get the body moving every single morning.
And I think there's plenty of medical studies. I don't think that when we say, hey, look, there's value in waking up, getting some exercise, whatever form of exercise is good for you, just going for a walk, whatever you do, get that body moving, get that blood flowing. And I know there's plenty of, studies on the impacts of this. And you got clarity, focus, all these things, which is exactly what I believe we should all be doing first thing in the morning. So I know if I exercise. So this morning I haven't exercised. It's 5:15. So I'm going to go get some exercise right after we do these this talk. I can assure you I would probably have way more energy if I just got out of the gym and got onto this call versus me getting onto this call and going to the gym. There's no question about it. And I don't think anyone should deny it. It's practically, I don't know if it's a fact, it's a truth for sure. And if I didn't go to the gym and then my first call is, there's not as much energy. The second call is not as much energy. The chance that I'm going to create a positive result is less than if I have gotten my body moving. That's what's critical. So, if you want a higher return on your investment, on your lead flow, if you want a better chance of a closing ratio on getting that listing, then generate energy. You got to move. The second one that I have, and I'm thinking of kind of like from starting in the morning, generating momentum, but of course, beyond just the day. The second thing though is feeding your mind daily. I mean, once you get a little bit of exercise and you've got that open mind, you've got that clarity, you've got that blood flowing, then go in there and feed your mind. Like some of you know that I have a podcast, Level Up Podcast. Go out and listen to the latest episode of the Level Up Podcast. Re-listen to one of your favorite, podcasts. There's plenty of podcasts out there or YouTube videos. Go to TED Talks, go to Tony Robbins, and get some of that power to get those powerful messages. And I'm not telling you that the strategy for momentum is to like pump yourself up. I'm sharing, in order to generate momentum, feed your mind with some positivity. There's a podcast, Abe, I think it's called How They Built This, How I Built This. Is it How I Built This?
How They Built It, I think.
How They Built This. And it's a podcast on people that have built amazing companies. And it could be like, the company could be Starbucks, could be Spanx. There's just hundreds of podcasts out there. And what I find exciting about the podcast is, or intriguing, is every one of these iconic founders / CEOs, they've had challenges. They've had times where maybe they lost focus. Maybe they made some bad decisions. They went left when they should have went right. And they almost lost their business. And then they built themselves back. They worked themselves out. They made things work. And when I listen to these stories, it just kind of like, it gets me motivated. It's like, man, no matter what I got going on, I can get through it if I stay focused. So feed your mind is another way to generate momentum.
Yeah, let me add a little bit to that as well, Greg. When I hear feed your mind, and I agree that's the second thing that should come every single morning, I also think of other things that could be done. Podcasts are great, audiobooks are great. I do those every single morning when I'm running. But also meditation, prayer, attributes, affirmations, not attributes, affirmations, or just like making a list of things you're grateful for. So when I hear feed your mind, I also think, becoming more grounded as well before you start the day. So you've got the body warmed up, you've got the blood flowing through you, and now it's a matter, okay, let me get my mind right. before I start my day. No matter what you're doing, I think
Mhm.
it's important to start with those two things.
Yeah, yeah. I was with Tony Robbins when we've done some of those events. He talks about state of mind,
Right.
and getting into
Getting in the state.
state, getting into state, and that's really what I'm referring to. Want to generate some momentum? Go ahead, get your body moving, get your mind, feed your mind, get into that state of mind, get into that state that is going to help you perform at your very best. Very best. I guess I'll mention the third one that I have here, and I'll let you take the fourth one. But the third one that I have is a pregame practice. So I look at, I'm a basketball fan, so I watch the NBA, and right now there's playoffs. It's getting close to the championship, and I think about these basketball players and all the greats that are on the floor, sitting on the bench. And if you tune into the basketball game a little bit earlier than the starting time, you're going to see these players have a pregame routine. You read books on these guys or gals, and it seems like they get up at the same time, they eat the same thing. Like on game day, they always eat the same thing. They put on the same socks. I mean, some of them, they won't even change. They'll wear a dirty sock. They in their mind, it's good luck, right? If they won with it, they don't want to change anything. And they have all these routines. They get up to the free throw line and they take some free throws. They get to the 3-point line. They shoot some free throws. They get with a partner, and the partner starts to try to steal the ball while the other one's dribbling. All of these things in our business, what we call this is role playing. They're role playing. So you've heard this in our industry. You need to role play. You need to role play. Well, that's what these guys and girls are doing. They're role playing. So I believe if you want to generate momentum, move your body, feed your mind, and role play. Formulate and execute on a pregame routine. What are some of the things you would say, Abe, would be your pregame routine?
Yes, I mean, so when I look at this is like the business warm up. Like any business out there always has some prep time before they open up their doors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're a restaurant, if you're a bakery, you turn on the ovens, right? Pizzeria, turn on the ovens, get everything ready. You're a restaurant, you get all the silverware ready, you getting your plates ready, the salads, everything you're getting all that ready. It's no different in our business. I mean, we have to prep, we have to get our game ready for when the doors open. Our doors open up, at least for us, at 8 a.m. Right. So when I get in the office between 7 and 8, I'm getting my, I'm already worried. I've already done my run. I've already got my head right, listened to some podcasts, some audiobooks, whatever it is that day. And now I'm looking through, okay, who am I calling today? What's my list of people to call? I'm not role playing anymore. I did early on the first couple of years, but I'm not doing that anymore. But I'm looking, okay, I'm running some quick numbers in the MLS and saying, okay, what just hit the market? What just sold? What's the inventory look like today? If I know I'm going to be calling a bunch of condo owners that morning, I'm going to pull 5 or 6 stats on condos that I'm going to be able to share in conversations with people. That's how I prep my day before I make my calls.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I do some things similar, but obviously I exercise as you do. Right. And then, usually I'm kind of, or it's just about every day I'm talking to the kids before they go to school. I'm, getting into the car and listening to some sort of information, whether I'm learning more about real estate or or coaching or anything else. I'm feeding my mind. I'm getting to the office, and one of the first things that I do when I get to the office is I take out a scratch piece of paper, and I write down my priorities for the day. My to-do list has got to be 1,000 things, that and majority of things will never get done. So what I do is I have a priority list, and I say these 4 things, these 5 things, maybe it's 3 things. It's usually about 4 or 5 things I am like really committed to completing. And so I know it's like, this is the list of priorities that when I finish this list, I've had a successful day. What's interesting is I also put things on there that I know I can finish. That maybe it's like the only thing that keeps me from finishing that would be me. It's not difficult. It's not something I don't know. It's just something that today I'm making this a priority. I'm getting this done. And then I'm immediately going in and I'm looking in my notes where my assistant has uploaded all the leads that I need to call that morning. And those leads are people that have called me and says, hey, I would like to list my property with you, or I'm thinking about listing. Could you give me some information? Because they've been in my database and I've been nurturing it. Now I could go on and on, but that's my pregame. And a lot of people don't have that. So if you want to generate momentum, follow these steps. Follow these steps. What's your next one?
No question. So the next one is, plus 30 is what you like to call it. Take whatever activities you're doing right now and just turn up the heat, like ramp it up, increase it by 30% relative to what you're doing, especially right now in this kind of market, right? Yeah. Listings are a lot tougher to get. So you're having to have more conversations with sellers or potential sellers to get more listings. So the cure is always make more contacts. That's always the cure to every single problem. So to generate more momentum, just ramp up the business. If you're typically making 10 calls a day, then make 13 now. It's nothing that's going to be so big of a goal that it's going to just be impossible to do. Just 3 more calls if you're making 10. If you're texting 10 people a day, then text 13 people a day. If you're calling 10 FISBOs, then make it 13. Just whatever you're doing, increase it by 30% across the board, and you're going to see some tremendous momentum starting to build and tremendous success come about from doing that.
Yeah, and this really compounds on itself. Like, so if you're generating energy and you're moving in the morning and you're feeding that mind, you have that pregame routine. Now, you are in such a better position to win for the day. You're in such a better position to handle those objections. To when you hear no, to ask another question. You're in that state of mind. Now, when you're in that state, add 30% to the activities that you currently do to build your business. So if you're generating business and you're doing 100 contacts in a week, talking to 100 people, talk to 130. But talk to those 130 when you've got energy and you've got clarity and you've got intention. When you got intentionality, that's the pregame. So when you do those 3 things and then you add 30% to your lead generation activities, there's going to be momentum. It's going to happen. If you just do 30% more of what's currently working, if you call FISBOs and that's the way that you build your business, and you call 10 FISBOs in a day, call 13 plus 30. Add 30% to what you're doing and do that for the next 30 days, and you're going to get better results. The numbers will work in your favor. It does every single time.
No question. And if you're having some challenges this year where you're not meeting last year's numbers, this is the solution. I think 30 is the number, Greg. I think 30% is what it's going to take right now in this current market to be able to do or take the same number of listens you took last year. I think you got to make 30% more contacts.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. And I also think I like that you say you think it's the number. I don't think it's that difficult. Like 30%, like it would be way more difficult if I said double your contacts. That's a challenge. That's a lot of time. But you can actually increase by 30%. But if you have the right energy and the right mindset, really focused and intentional about what you're doing, you can probably add 30% to your lead generation activities without adding much time. I don't think the 30% also means now invest 30% more time. I think that you'll actually do more in less time. So you can add that 30%, go from 10 FISBOs to 13 FISBOs. You can do that, and you might not even add more than 5 or 10 more minutes to your prospecting or your lead generation time.
That's a great point. I know agents out there, they can add 30% more just by turning off their cell phones during prospecting and turning off their email.
Yeah.
Right, because of distractions.
100%.
Take away
100%.
those distractions, we automatically will add 30 to 40% more.
Yeah, I think that whole distraction thing that you just said, that we should have done 8 things to generate momentum now, and resisting those distractions, eliminating distractions probably could have been that 8th one. That's a good one. All right, what's next?
Next one is add one weekend, either a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, or add one afternoon to your generating time.
Yeah.
So most of us out there, at least that are listening to this, are going to generate every single morning, right? We're coming in Monday through Friday, making the calls 8 to 11. What you'll realize, if you'll spend one afternoon or 2 afternoons a week between, I'd say 4 and 6 or 4 and 7, you'd be amazed at the pickup rate of the leads on the phone. People are getting hammered in the morning right now, right? So that 4 to 7 time window, I think you will get twice, if not triple, the pickup rate that you get in the morning. So I would add one afternoon, 4 to 7, Tuesday or Thursday, or I would add a Saturday morning, say 8 to 10, 8 to 11. And then what I would use that time for is anybody that I have not been able to reach during the mornings throughout the week. So I just tag them a certain way, add them to a certain list, and then that one afternoon, that one Saturday, go through that list, and I guarantee you that you're going to reach a lot of those people that you haven't been able to reach all week long. And then that'll be another way to do the one that we just talked about, where you can add 30% more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the reasons that we don't tell people or coach people to make more calls in the evening is because we know it's hard to be consistent on a daily basis in making calls in the evening. So the pickup rate and your contact rate in the evening and on a Saturday morning, as Abe said, is much higher. But we're saying only add one night or one Saturday, but be consistent with that. Do that one night. Do that once a week. Add one Saturday, maybe every other Saturday. You probably could do that in addition to what you're currently doing right now. And as Abe said, that would be the 30%. Now, if you want to generate momentum even faster, add 2 nights. But just do it, say, for 90 days, add 2 nights. If you do that, you're going to see the results. You are definitely going to see the results. And again, just to repeat what Abe said, is you may even want to make some kind of notation. In the old days, when I used the paper and put it in the file, in the manila folder, I had a folder that just said night on it. And so, like, if I had called, say, 3 days in a row and didn't get somebody, I would throw them in the night file. And then when it came that the night that I was going to make calls, I would take that night file, and it'd be amazed at how much business I would get out of that.
Yeah.
They weren't avoiding my call in the day. They weren't available for a call in the day. And so when I caught them at night, set appointments.
And now with CRM, it's so easy. Just tag them night, tag them evening, or whatever, Saturday, and just be able to tag them in that CRM and then just hit them throughout that time. So if agents were robots, Greg, I would say you should prospect 4 to 7, 5 days a week instead of 8 to 11. But we know it's so hard to miss that. Just like exercising. If you don't do it first thing in the morning and say, okay, I'll go this afternoon, you're going to miss more often than not.
Yeah, it's more likely a buyer is going to call you up and say, hey, can you show me properties at 5 p.m.? And then that 5 p.m. extends into, 7 o'clock, and you're done, right? You're not going to make those calls. Not many days throughout the year will you get a buyer call at 6 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, can you show me properties at 8 a.m.? That doesn't happen. So the fact that there's just fewer distractions in the morning allows us to be more consistent. But yes, if we were robots and there's no way we could ever be knocked off of our schedule, it'd be evenings and weekends. That'd be it. It'd be a lot less hours because the quality of those hours would be so good, but you would miss everything in your life, your hobbies, your family, and everything else.
And happy hour.
And happy hour, yes. The next one here, I think we're on number 6 now, is asking for the business. Most agents, studies show that most agents, when they're on an appointment, whether it be a buyer appointment or a listing appointment, the average number of closings per appointment is less than 1. It's less than 1. So what we're doing is we're presenting information, and then we're kind of like waiting for them to say, oh, yes, okay, I'm ready to move forward. Yes, this is the one. If you make a goal to ask for the business on every appointment, I wrote down, if right now you're one of those that doesn't ask, then I challenge you for the next 30 to 90 days. Ask every appointment, ask them for the business 3 times. Ask them for the business 3 times. If you're one of those, like you ask 1 time, on average, I'm saying, well, for the next 30 to 90 days, ask 4 times on average. And if you ask 4 times, which it's extremely unlikely that anyone listening is actually really asking that much, but if you are, ask 5 times. If you increase the number of times you ask, you'll increase the results that you get. Now, let's just say I've got 3 showings set up for the same buyer today. I'm going to show them 3 properties. Well, I am going to ask them to buy, or ask them if they're ready to buy, each and every property that I show them. So I'm going to say, we're in the home. I'm going to ask them, hey, I'm just kind of curious, is this the property that you feel is the one for you? Are you interested in making an offer on this property? Now, I'm going to get the majority of the time, because there's only going to be one that they're going to want to make the offer on, most likely, or there's only going to be one that they want to buy. So if I'm showing them 3 and there's only one they're going to want to buy, in that scenario, 2 they're not going to want to buy. They're always going to say no more than they're going to say yes when you use this strategy. But here's the answers that you're going to get. You're going to get, no, there's no way. This is absolutely not what we're looking for. So that's perfect, because sometimes in order to get what they want, we've got to go through a process of elimination. And so instead of leaving it hanging, where we go from this property to the next property, but we never kind of like resolved this property. We never got any resolution. We never came to any conclusion, and we never made any commitments on this property. I want them to make a commitment every time, even if it's committing not to buy it. So we can eliminate this, move on. Let's not talk about this. And now I'm usually going to follow up and say, well, okay, great. Well, perfect. Well, just so I can get stronger and stronger and better at understanding what you're looking for, tell me what's 1 or 2 things that about this property that's preventing you from moving forward. Well, I don't like this and I don't like that. Okay, great. Now that information I'm gathering is going to make me stronger in the next one. So in the next appointment, I can say, hey, remember you said you didn't like this and that about the last home. This one's different. This one doesn't have this and that. This one has this. So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, is this the one that you find that you feel is the one for you? Are you interested in moving forward and making an offer on this one? No, I mean, it's okay. And each time I'm going to ask them to buy, or ask them if they're ready to buy this one. On the listing side, it's the same thing. The point here is, it doesn't have to be some slick sales script. I'm just asking you and sharing with you to just ask, is this the right one? Are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to do business together? Are you ready to let me handle? Why don't we go ahead and sign the documents? Well, however you're going to do it, make sure it's done. I would rather you ask. I'd rather you kind of ask 3 times, even if it's not that good, meaning the dialogue is not that great, the script is not great. I'd rather you use a bad script 3 times than not ever use a script, to not ever ask. Any final thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, we get so caught up in what's the perfect close. How do I close somebody? Just ask for the business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, start there.
Yeah. And the reality, in my reality, is that the perfect close is there is no close. Yeah. And I think we need to be careful, like asking somebody to move forward and closing on somebody. is not necessarily the same thing. I mean, closing on somebody, I guess it really is the same thing. But I think that when we as real estate agents talk about closing on somebody, then an agent who's not like, doesn't want to be a hard closer, a slimy salesperson, then they'll resist asking because their perception of the ask is a close. We probably just need to throw that word away because sometimes there's some negativity that follows it. And all we really need to do is just ask. And if you've got good rapport, the ask is easy.
I like it.
All right. What's the last one?
So the last one is plain and simple. Just talk to more people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're in the people business. We're in the communication business. It's all about having conversations with people about real estate. It's just, I mean, it's so simple and so amazing time after time. When I want to ramp up my business, when I feel like I need more listings, I got to generate more business, I just talk to more people. And then all of a sudden, things just miraculously happen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this guy calls me and I start getting inbound calls, as a matter of fact. It's crazy how it happens that you expect the outbound calls, right? You make more outbound calls, you're going to all of a sudden do more business. But it's amazing how it happens, at least in my experience, when I raise my activity level, get into massive action, all of a sudden things just start falling in my lap as well.
Yeah.
So I think just talk to more people, have more real estate conversations every single day, and you're going to see that's a great way to build momentum and really start doing some business.
Yeah. And if I would add to the note, talk to more people, email more people, text more people, like your centers of influence. Let's just say that you have listeners here. Let's just say you had 100 people that you consider centers of influence, past clients. All of us probably have 100 people. Even those of you that think you don't have 100 people, if you have a cell phone, you probably have 100 people in your cell phone. If you just took everybody in your cell phone, you took your centers of influence, your friends, your past clients, and you just sent them a text. The text could be as simple as, hey, just wanted to touch base with you. I'm sure you've heard how hot the real estate market is, how much prices have increased. Just wanted to, check in to see if there's any chance that you might be thinking of selling and taking advantage of these prices. Or you may just say, hey, just wanted to give you a quick little update. The market is on fire. Prices have increased. Would you like me to do a research on your property and kind of give you an idea of what it's worth now? You just send that text to more people. Send that text. Like, think of today, I'm going to send that text to 10 people today. I bet you that you're going to, out of 10, I bet you're going to get 2 to 3 people, probably 2 people that are going to say, yes, yeah, I would like to know what my property's worth. Then what you do, go do a CMA, email it to them, follow up with a phone call. Now, if you do that to 100 people, you're probably going to get 20. You might be thinking, oh my God, that'd be 20 CMAs. Oh my gosh, I would love to have to do 20 CMAs today, because 20 CMAs is going to be a listing. And if you really think about it, it was, 100 texts, 20 CMAs, 20 phone calls. Then you're probably going to get 1 or 2 listings. Now think about this. If you don't want to do that way, then go cold call for the next 2 weeks and try to get 1 or 2 listings. It would be a much more efficient and effective way to do this. So when we say talk to more people, I think maybe I could say touch more people. Mm-hmm. All right, well, we got through the 7, and it's an early morning. So again, for those of you, I am in Utah, Park City, Utah, at an event. So sorry, the lighting's not well, the timing's different. But the good thing is, Abe, we made it work.
We got it done.
We got it done.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening to this and have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comment section within the Facebook feed, and we'll be sure to answer those throughout the day. And other than that, go to Real Estate Sales Solutions. and check out some of the blogs that we've done, some free content that we have there. There's some courses that you can take, but we welcome you to check that out. All right, Abe,
All right,
I
Greg,
guess we'll do this again next week.
have a good trip, man. See you
All
soon.
right. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.